So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Venus Ketu conjunction in the 8th house. Okay. And what happens when they're in the 8th house? And if you want to know what nakshatra they're in, all your astrological details, including my consultation, go to kerasastrology.com under subsection. So, Venus and Ketu in the 8th house. Now, on real world, the practical world, this is a position of a person who will like to deal in being a quantitative. Somebody who's very good at analyzing, researching data related to money. Okay. If other planetary conjunction or aspects come onto this, like for example, you have Venus, Ketu, and Mars, or Venus, Ketu, Mercury, person can even enjoy being in accounting, data scientist, data mining, which is pretty much the same thing. But on the deeper level, Venus in Ketu represents one thing. The moment you get married, your spiritual journey starts. Okay. And this is especially true when Ketu is in the front. If Ketu's directly is in front of Venus, it starts your journey to focus on the hidden truth of life. And you could be an agnostic, or you could be an atheist, agnostic. You could be the most scientific, loving person out there. But somehow, some way, it's going to take you into the hidden realms of, afterlife, tantra, occult. You will come across people who will give you certain indication and proofs that, hey, there's something other than the physical reality and physics that you work with. Some things are beyond your mathematics. Some things are beyond your scientific love affair. Okay. The other thing with Venus and Ketu in the 8th house, you will see that this is a particular position where a person has, especially if you see, let's say Ketu's behind Venus. Venus has naturally the capacity to rejuvenate itself. No matter what happens to this person's finances, they know how to get back up. It's their past life that is coming. If Ketu is in front, okay, then what Ketu is here to show you that, okay, you're dealing with some kind of a financial crunch. You feel like the money is just stuck. And yet, you have no desire to go within. Then it's going to be stuck. Venus, Ketu, especially when Ketu is in front, sadhana becomes very important. Not even meditation, sadhana. What is sadhana? Sadhana represents being immersed into a practice where you even forget yourself. How does this sadhana take place? Well, just like any sports league has a preseason and then the season starts, right? Like an NBA, preseason for 1 month, then the regular season starts for 6-7 months. Just like that, for 40 days, a person should practice 10 minutes of sitting down. No matter what thoughts are coming in, what is happening, you just sit 40 days, same time. On the 40th day, you will see, even if you say to your mind, think something, I need some thinking, those chaotic thoughts, they won't come. And from that moment onwards, as your sadhana begins, is where you can envelop yourself into your inner self-realization, and you slowly go towards it. And then that's when you see the money of this person begins to increase. Because Venus Ketu conjunction, whether Ketu is in back or Ketu is in front, known as a Padam Yoga. Yoga to give Ketu is the heights. And remember, the Padam Yoga represents the lotus, where there's this long stem that takes you up. So what this starts doing for this person is starts taking them from their harsh conditions, okay, and raises their consciousness up where certain events and certain things in your life makes you into a blossoming, most beautiful flower. That a person is able to go to the heights of their luxury, heights of their materialism. But it does not come without your practice into the sadhana. This has to become kind of like a lifelong thing for you. And the other thing with Venus Ketu, when it's in the 8th, okay, you will see that whenever somebody's sick, let's say your grandma is sick, and everybody knows they have to go, they're going. But whenever Ketu and Venus are in the 8th, Sun is in the 8th, Jupiter is in the 8th, you will see such people, when they visit that person, they cannot leave. The soul does not get the permission to leave. But the moment you leave that person, then that person is able to release themselves. Like you will all notice that, let's say your grandmother, grandfather passed away. Even when you were there in front of them, maybe you went out for a couple of minutes. But by the time those couple of minutes elapsed and you came back, you found out, oh, they passed away. Okay. And especially Ketu represents that past lineage. So they were your past lineage. Those are the people, that older people. Venus Ketu in the 8th house also shows that, especially in a man's chart, if they don't find a specific particular person with their profession, they will feel extraordinary frustration in sexual fulfillment. Meaning, you must either find a person who is dealing with, let's say, like a nurse, dealing with sharp objects, somebody who's an accountant, somebody who's a researcher in science, DNA, somebody who's, let's say, a tantric practitioner or a jyotishi, like your wife is an astrologer. Wife is a chef, but usually this particular 8th house placement, you usually give somebody who's like a quant, somebody who's dealing with research, somebody who's dealing with the emergency medical doctor, especially like an ER doctor. And especially if you're going to find a doctor, they should be specialized in a particular skill. Like there's a regular residency doctor, general practitioner, then there's an endocrinologist, then there's a cardiologist. Okay. Then there's I was going to say paleontologist. Hey, you never, and you know what? Paleontology will also work here. Because what is the person doing? They're digging deep for bones of dinosaurs or for historic, items and places. So yeah, that can work too. Why not? And the thing that Venus Ketu also shows here is that a person will have to, the further they are away from their family, their kicks and kin, the better this person will do well financially in their life. Okay. Now, of course, will this bring money or not? Those things depend on many other things. Those things also depends on the progression of your Jupiter and Saturn, depends upon the ascendant of your Navamsha, depends upon the certain nakshatra placement. So it's really can't say, okay, well, you'll have money or we won't have money. I'm giving you the pathway of how to align with this Venus, because Venus is money, right? And Venus is in front of Ketu. The other thing, if Ketu is in front of Venus, it becomes imperative that you do donations. And you should do secret donations. Don't tell anybody. Don't even tell the spouse you're donating money. You donate money. Whether you're donating small amount or at one point you're donating $500,000. No need to advertise that I just did this, I donated this and that. Especially with Venus and Ketu, secrecy becomes very, very important in the 8th house. Secrecy about your lineage, your spiritual practices, your marriage, secrecy about your money, your investments. You don't want to display those things out in the world. Okay. And the other thing with Venus and Ketu, especially when Ketu's in the front, you will see this person has this talent of intuitively understanding money. Sometimes they don't need to take financial classes. Sometimes, like for example, in 2002, they feel like, I know Apple's not doing really well, but I just feel like Steve Jobs is going to do something. I feel like he's on the verge of something. He already got the iPod out. It's just going to get better and better. Okay, let me invest $10,000. And they wait 10 years. Boom, that 10,000 turns into 300,000, if not more. So there's this intuition. Even with Ketu in the back, they have past life intuition, past life experiences of how to handle money and deal with money. This is why I said that Venus Ketu can make a great quantitative in a investment banking place, where they're finding out now. Of course, I don't know how AI is going to do that, or if a human is going to be needed with that, but that this is where they need to be. Like especially if other planetary placements are there, and especially mainly if your interest is there. Maybe you'll be having a job to train the AI for the next 15, 20 years. So they're 105%, not just 90, 95, 99, or 100%. Okay. So anyway, guys, this was my analysis of Venus Ketu in the 8th house of your birth chart. And one thing I also forgot to mention with Venus and Ketu in the 8th house, if Ketu is in front, you will marry into a family who must have gone through at least 2 financial breaks in their life. Okay. You will also see with Venus and Ketu in the 8th house that First, your spouse will have tremendous attachment to the family, to one's own family. Then they lose that complete interest. That will take place. You will have tremendous interest in wanting to hang out with your in-laws, going to occasions, but somehow, some way, certain things that happen where you're just barely going every 4 or 5 years. So that connections also get disrupted. Okay? So this was my analysis. Remember, if you're new to my channel, subscribe below so you don't miss this type of videos. If you want to know anything about your chart, including my consultation, go to link here. Otherwise, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.